we'll start presenting our side actually, and we'll talk a little bit about the activity done in Israel, and we'll ask first some questions. Actually, we're just starting, so it's more questions than answers, but it's good to ask good questions because it's half of the road. The arena. The arena is users of statistics, public sector, private sector, businesses, researchers, public at large, and the international organizations. And I think that yesterday we also heard that even Statistics Denmark is actually using the outside, I call it pressure, the requirements of Eurostat, the requirements of the EU, as some kind of tool to generate, to recruit resources, either human resources or budget, because they have to meet the requirements. They are part of the club. And we also try to be part of the different clubs. The data suppliers are households, businesses, and holders of administrative records. We're going to have additional activity in March with the data providers and users. Probably most of you are going to be invited as well, because most of our ministries are not only producers of statistics, they are also data providers and users for the ministries themselves. And the third part is the statistics compilers, providers, national and global actors in different statistical systems. The challenges introduced. From users' perspective, data is in abundance, as it is generated by anyone who measures anything. Everybody is measuring, everybody is producing something, and now we have to know what to use. Users need to know what is reliable and can serve for rational and evidence-based decision-making. From the data supplier's perspective, the challenge is whom to provide information to. How to avoid unintended provision of information, who can be trusted to observe confidentiality of private information. And from the producer's perspective, addressing users' needs with qualitative statistics in an efficient way. On the national level, actually, quality and efficiency are main challenges of the NSS. I went to the glossary, different glossaries, in order to find out what we are talking about, actually. So this is what I found. The National Statistical System is an ensemble of statistical organizations and units within a country that jointly collect, process, and disseminate official statistics on behalf of national government. Okay. So if so, this is from the OECD glossary that relies on other sources as well. So if these are the producers, if these are the NSS components, what is official statistics? Official statistics are statistics disseminated by the National Statistical System, except those that are explicitly stated not to be official. This is the OECD glossary. Okay, so what we can conclude from that? Official statistics is defined by producers type, actually. This is what we can say. It means that producers of official statistics include government ministries, local authorities, and other public organizations, and that's why we invited you and not others, because we had to define the borders. But of course, we may change the borders according to needs. We are just starting. The Israeli NSS, there are some mechanisms, and we heard Yoel Finkel talking about it before. The existing mechanisms did not bring the Israeli NSS to its recognition as a system in itself and for itself. I used Mark's terminology for class, so we are not a class yet. Statistics producers do not interact within an organizational structure toward agreed upon goals. We are working together, but on a bilateral level. We don't work as a system. I don't know if it's something that we should aspire for. Maybe it's not good to work as a system. Maybe we can benefit nothing, but it doesn't look like that, because usually if we use another sociologist terminology, the structure is more than the structure of the organizations. He talked about organizations is more than the sum of its parts. So I think that we can gain together more than just working on a bilateral level. However, common objectives originated in requirements of external bodies prove the ability of the Israeli NSS to work as a professional system where the partners in the system acknowledge the relative advantage of each other. And we had this experience in the implementation of the OECD roadmap. I think that most of you were part of it. It was really wonderful. We got a roadmap for statistics, and everybody cooperated because we had a mutual interest. We wanted to join the OECD, so we worked together. So once we see a goal, it was an outside goal, but it was a goal, we knew how to work together. We also had IMF recommendations. Actually, the governor of the bank and the government statistician invited the IMF to review the data here, the economic, financial data, and we used the recommendations in order to work together and to improve our statistics, financial statistics in that case. And as I said before, we have the European Union MedSat program, and we are going together for training, and UN and UN agencies, hearing and reports, whenever there is a pressure from outside, whenever we have some kind of hearing, ministries are calling us and asking for data and ask us to check whether their data is reliable enough. So we can work together. We can do it. 2 words about the preparation for this activity, launching the NSS operation, I call it. We worked in a snowball method to find partners in the NSS. It is clear that there's an undercoverage of the institutions and of functions holders, and the work of identification and inclusion has just started. We are just starting today, and I hope that we'll have a productive future. 41 institutions and over 100 people were found to be official statistics producers. 21 institutions sent us information regarding the statistical activities and products generated by their office. Most information is also posted on their website, so visibility and transparency are also served. These are part of the European Code of Practice, actually. So we are practicing some of the principles of the European Code of Practice and the UN Fundamental Principle of Official Statistics as well. Most government ministries work according to international standards. It was a very nice surprise. We asked you, and you provided information about it. And if we look at a summarizing table, we see that most organizations work according to international standards. Local authorities have their own procedures. Most government ministries send statistical information to the international organizations, so this is the reason why they are working according to international standards. They are doing it directly or through the Central Bureau of Statistics. All ministries provide information to the government. We can safely assume that their primary priority is generating and providing statistical information for their own functioning. That's why we cannot be very, very centralized. You need the statistic that you produce for your ministry, for your organization. So complete centralization cannot be functional or productive. What can we do with this knowledge? Now we know something, what can we do with it? Identify statistical needs and look for common interests vis-a-vis local and global users, since it proves to be a motivator for a better statistical work in Israel. We can map methodologically the existing statistical activities and products, data sources, statistical processes, products, input, process, output, in order to find out what needs are answered and what needs are not. Address efficiency on the national statistical system level for the long run and for the short run as well. prioritize statistical development, content and participants, reduce duplications, identify activities and products that are not needed anymore. I mean, once we map what we do for the twinning project, we already gain because we see that we can do better. We can reduce duplications, we can reduce production that is not needed anymore. It's there because it's a tradition. I mean, if you look at the annual abstract of Israel, I'm not sure that if you look at each and every table, we'll find that someone used it for the last 5 years or so. And we can shift resources accordingly, of course. We can address quality on the NSS level for the long run and for the short run as well. Harmonization of statistics across the NSS. Adherence to international standards, since we are an integral part of the global statistical system. We talk about the national statistical system, but in this globalization era, actually, we cannot work on our own. We are part of the global community. And these are not only words. I mean, we see it every day. We can also identify and develop by the enabling infrastructures, including qualified human resources. And this is something very interesting because when you talk with Americans who have a very decentralized system, they invest a lot in training statisticians to be official statistics producers, although they are working in different ministries and they're trying to figure out how to do it efficiently and how to coordinate it. And they are also the White House, the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, is working with standards in order to coordinate and harmonize statistics production. How can we do it? Use the legal framework, and we're going to hear about it, for establishing the coordination mechanisms. Apply for enabling resources as a system. I mean, when we run to ask the Ministry of Finance to ask for resources, it's not as powerful as coming as a system. With a well-established plan that addresses users' needs. Why do you need it? Why do we need it? And what we are going to do with it. Use the international agenda regarding official statistics for development plans and for implementation support. Use the special independent and objective status of the Central Bureau of Statistics. We are part of the Prime Minister's office, where we enjoy independence. We heard before what's happening in some countries, what pressure is put on the government statistician, and who can cope with it and who cannot. Do it in order to promote quality of statistics in the different offices as well. And of course, use the experience shared with Statistics Denmark. Thank you very much.